Imagine waking up tomorrow in a world where every person suddenly disappeared. The streets would be empty, the cafes would be silent, the parks would stand still. The cities would feel like monuments to a civilization that no longer exists. Most people would call that terrifying, yet millions of people experience a version of that feeling every single day. Not because they are physically alone, but because they feel alone. And perhaps that is the strangest part of all. We are living in the most connected era in human history. Never before have human beings had so many ways to communicate. We can send messages across the planet in seconds. We can video call people from different continents. We can instantly share our thoughts, our photos, our experiences, and our lives. And yet, loneliness continues to grow. Quietly, patiently, like a shadow following us through every stage of life. It doesn't make headlines very often. People rarely talk about it openly. Most suffer in silence. But it has become one of the defining struggles of our generation. A silent epidemic hiding in plain sight. Open your phone. Scroll for just 30 seconds. You will see people traveling around the world. People buying houses. People getting married. People driving expensive cars. People celebrating promotions. People smiling. People winning. People succeeding. People living what appears to be a perfect life. And without even realizing it, something begins to happen inside your mind. You start comparing. Not because you are weak, not because you are jealous, because comparison is deeply human. Human beings have always compared themselves to others. But never before in history have we been able to compare ourselves to hundreds of people within a matter of minutes. Every photograph becomes evidence. Every achievement becomes a measurement. Every success story becomes another reminder of what we believe we have failed to accomplish. Slowly, a dangerous narrative begins to form. Everyone is happier than me. Everyone is more successful than me. Everyone has more friends than me. Everyone is moving forward except me. And the more we repeat these thoughts, the more real they begin to feel. But there is a problem. Most of what we are comparing ourselves to isn't real. Social media is not reality. It is a highlight reel, a carefully edited collection of moments. Nobody posts their loneliness at 3 in the morning. Nobody posts the panic attacks. Nobody posts the arguments. Nobody posts the fear. Nobody posts the uncertainty. Nobody posts the tears after the camera is turned off. We compare our everyday reality to someone else's best moments. And then we wonder why we feel inadequate. Imagine watching only the winning moments of another person's life while living through every detail of your own struggles. The comparison was never fair from the beginning. Yet millions of people do exactly that every day, and many pay a heavy price for it. Researchers have actually studied this phenomenon. In experiments where participants significantly reduced their social media usage, many reported lower levels of loneliness, lower levels of anxiety, and improved emotional well-being. Why? Because comparison is exhausting. The human mind was never designed to constantly measure itself against thousands of people, especially when the lives being displayed are carefully filtered versions of reality. The more we compare ourselves, the more disconnected we become from our own lives. Instead of appreciating our own journey, we become obsessed with someone else's. Instead of building our future, we spend our time observing theirs. Instead of living, we watch. And over time, something dangerous happens. We begin to feel left behind. Loneliness rarely arrives all at once. doesn't knock on the door and announce itself. It enters quietly, one small step at a time. A canceled meeting, a friendship that slowly fades away, a relationship that ends, a move to a different city. Long hours spent online instead of with real people. Months pass, years pass, and without realizing it, we begin retreating from the world. We stop calling people. We stop making plans. We stop sharing what we truly feel. We convince ourselves that nobody would understand. And loneliness grows stronger. Because loneliness feeds on silence. The less we talk about it, the more powerful it becomes. Eventually, it starts feeling like a prison. A prison without walls, without bars, without locks, yet somehow impossible to escape. Philosophers understood this long before smartphones existed. One famous concept became known as the porcupine dilemma. Imagine a group of porcupines during a freezing winter. If they stay too far apart, they freeze. If they move too close, they hurt each other with their quills. Human beings face a similar challenge. We need connection, but connection requires vulnerability. It requires trust. It requires the courage to risk disappointment. Many people choose distance because distance feels safer. If nobody gets close, nobody can hurt us. At least that's what we tell ourselves. But the very thing protecting us from pain often prevents us from experiencing love, friendship, and belonging. Eventually, safety becomes isolation, and isolation becomes loneliness. The problem becomes even more complicated when technology enters the equation. Every notification, every like, every message, every swipe creates a small release of dopamine inside the brain. Dopamine is often called the motivation molecule. It drives us to seek rewards. The next notification, the next video, the next post, the next exciting thing. Modern technology has become extremely effective at capturing our attention. We keep scrolling, keep refreshing, keep consuming, hour after hour, day after day. And while we become increasingly entertained, we often become less connected. We are stimulated, but not fulfilled. Occupied, but not understood. Surrounded by content, yet starving for genuine connection. For some people, loneliness remains temporary. For others, it slowly transforms into something heavier, something darker. Days become weeks, weeks become months. The motivation disappears, the energy fades. The things that once brought joy begin to feel meaningless. You wake up tired, you go to sleep tired. Not because your body is exhausted, because your mind is carrying a weight it was never meant to carry alone. This is where loneliness can begin to merge with depression. And this is where many people lose hope. They begin believing that this feeling will last forever, that life will always feel empty, that happiness belongs to other people, not to them. But this is one of the greatest lies depression ever tells. Because depression has a way of convincing people that the future will look exactly like the present. And that is almost never true. There is something important that many people forget. Nothing is ever exactly as it seems. The wealthy businessman may be struggling with loneliness. The smiling couple may be falling apart behind closed doors. The influencer with millions of followers may feel completely isolated when the camera stops recording. The successful entrepreneur may be fighting anxiety every single day. The person you envy may secretly wish they had parts of the life you take for granted. Human suffering is often invisible, which means our assumptions about other people's lives are usually incomplete. We see the surface, never the depth, the victory, never the sacrifice, the smile, never the pain, the destination, never the journey. Nothing is as perfect as it appears, and nothing is as hopeless as it feels. For decades, researchers have searched for the answer to a simple question. What truly makes a human being happy? Money? Success? Status? Power? One of the longest studies ever conducted followed people throughout their lives for more than 80 years. The conclusion surprised many people. The strongest predictor of a long and fulfilling life was not wealth, not fame, not achievement. It was the quality of human relationships, real relationships, meaningful relationships, genuine relationships, not followers, not likes, not views, not online validation, connection. The very thing many people sacrifice while chasing success may be the very thing that gives success its meaning. And this brings us to the most important part of this entire story. There is always a way back. Always. No matter how lonely you feel right now, no matter how long you have felt this way, no matter how convincing the darkness seems, there is always a way back. Maybe it begins with a phone call. Maybe it begins with answering a message. Maybe it begins with taking a walk outside. Maybe it begins with speaking honestly about what you have been carrying. The first step is rarely dramatic. Most transformations begin quietly. Small actions seem insignificant in the moment, but entire lives change because of small actions repeated consistently. One conversation can change a day. One friendship can change a year. One decision can change an entire life. If you are watching this and feeling alone, remember something. You are not the only one. Millions of people are fighting the exact same battle. Some are sitting in crowded rooms feeling invisible. Some are surrounded by followers but have nobody to call. Some are smiling every day while silently struggling to get through another night. You are not strange. You are not weak. You are not the only one. And most importantly, you are not stuck forever. Because loneliness is powerful, but it is not permanent. The chapter you are living right now is not the final chapter of your story. The pain you feel today is not proof that tomorrow will be the same. The darkness you see now is not all that exists. There is more ahead. There are people you have not met yet, friendships you have not built yet, memories you have not experienced yet, reasons to smile that have not happened yet. Life has a strange way of changing when we least expect it. And sometimes hope begins with a simple realization. The people you compare yourself to are not living perfect lives. The world is not filled with people who have everything figured out. It is filled with human beings. Human beings searching for meaning, searching for connection, searching for understanding, searching for hope, just like you. And perhaps that is the truth nobody talks about. We live in a world where millions of people feel alone. But if millions of us share the same struggle, then maybe none of us are truly alone after all. Keep going, your story is not over.